Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, guys. And first of all, let me say a very warm welcome to Brandon, the anime guy, my co-host for today. Hello.
Good morning, Purple Valkyrie. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. We've got a new week. We've just started a new month.
Yes, a new month, another month to go. That goes out to Arwen. She knows what I'm talking about.
That was pretty good, to be fair.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, we've got a lot to get through. But let me say hello first to everybody who's in the chat. So we've got Zachariah, good morning. We've got Ren Zero, good to see you. Camphor, always a pleasure. Channel 66, good morning, good to see you. We've got Mark the Infinitely Tired, and a big thank you. Mark has posted the link for Mary's Game Room charity. Guys, we are getting very, very close to their 24-hour stream. So if you could in any way support this excellent charity, please do. We would be incredibly grateful. Thank you for that, Mark. Appreciate that.
Yes, please do. It's going to be fun. I can see it now.
It's going to be a good one. If last year's
Yes,
was anything to go by, it certainly will. Let's see who else. We've got the Script Doctor live. Good morning, Jim the Viking. Good to see you. We've got the other Bash brother, Chris Persia. Good morning. Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Gum Bunny. Hello, sweetheart. Pat S. Good to see you. We've got Shane CT Ares. Good to see you. Oh, hey, look. Brandon the anime guy. I recognise him.
Yes.
We've got Dave G Sound. Good morning, good afternoon to Andrew Broadbent. Let's see who else. Speak for the Dead. Good morning, good to see you. I know we've got Arwen. I know she's feeling a little bit poorly at the moment, so I hope you feel better soon, honey.
Oh, sinuses. Sinus pressure is never any fun to deal with for any reason.
It's not, absolutely. And good morning to Sir Persalot, and good afternoon to Firefly, and I think I saw Archer Colin as well. Good to see you guys. And we also have Mobile Recluse and D-Bud Martin. Hello, guys. Good to see you. So, before we get into the news, and before we have a bit of a catch-up with all the stories that have gone on over the past few days, what I really wanted to talk about is you. Something has happened, and we need to get it sorted, don't we? So would you like to kind of fill everybody in on what happened in your own words, obviously?
Absolutely. This past Friday, I was going out on a date night for the first time in a year with my wife. You know, day before was my birthday, and we haven't done anything for any of our birthdays for a few years, and we're to a point where we didn't have any kids, so we're going out, we're having a good time. I, for whatever reason, decide to look at my phone when I get to the destination, and I get an email from YouTube saying that they have deleted my channel again for the same reasons as last time, for spam, scam, and deceptive practices. So that kind of put a downer on the whole night festivities, and I did my best to try and keep up, but with this being the second time, it's not a coincidence that this has happened. I've basically been targeted again.
It's not, and this isn't something that YouTube kind of flagged themselves. This is something that has to be reported, if I am correct in assuming.
Yeah. For this type of takedown, for that immediate of a takedown, it is either a person, group of persons, or a bot farm that's been put to use against me. Now, with this being the second time, I do have some words for the detractors. I'm not going anywhere. One way or the other, I will be here. Whether it be with my original channel, whether it be with my alter ego channel, which is what I'm running with now, or whether I happen to be part of a multitude of channels. It doesn't matter. I'm not going anywhere. I will do and keep doing what I am doing.
Well said.
And here at the end of our show, I am going to put out a tweet, and I'm going to tweet to Team YouTube since I've filed the appeals and they're taking forever. Although I will say this, on Friday when I did my initial appeal, I had a reply back from Team YouTube within a minute of my initial appeal, basically saying you're screwed. So that's a first. I've never heard of them replying that quickly. So
Not
most
that,
likely it was
that's
just
like it's an automated reply.
yeah, either automated or someone didn't want to do their job. So
It was the
basically,
weekend. Yes.
yeah, it's the weekend of fun and fancy free and dressing up and taking on the alter egos. Yes.
Well, that's
So
all well and
yeah,
good, YouTube, but we need you to actually do your damn job. Thank you.
exactly. So I will be sending out a tweet, and I ask everybody within the sound of my voice if they could not only, once I send it, if you follow me on Twitter, if you could not only retweet it but quote tweet it and add your own thoughts to this, and if you could ask a few friends of yours or anybody within your circle of influence that happens to spread outside of our circle of influence, I would be greatly humbled and appreciative of it. And
Absolutely. Guys, you saw the support that came out for Brandon the first time it happened. We are going to do it again this time. As he said, he will not kneel. We do not do that here in Valhalla. Brandon will always have a home here. If you ever wants to, use Rise and Shine, he is always welcome. But what we want is to get this content creator his channel back, because he works incredibly hard to bring you good content.
yeah, I do my best, and I'm not perfect at it, but I feel that over the since I started at the very end of August compared to now, I do believe that what I've done and what I've tried to do and the people that I've incorporated into this have made not only me a better content creator, but help spread the word of an awesome and excellent type of entertainment, which is animation, and specifically animation from Japan. And you're right, Keely. Strike me down and I'll become more powerful than you can imagine. But on the flip side of this, if they can successfully do this to me, a little, I was only a little over a quarter of the way there as far as the subscriber count that you have to get monetized. So if they can do this to me without quip or hesitation, anybody else that's a content creator here, and I know there are a few of you out there, they can do this to you with basically no rhyme, reason, cause, and or there's no stopping them from going after people like Purple, like Loki, like anybody that is monetized. And even though, in the monetization, there's the contract is only as good as far as them willing to honor it. And with the way that the U.S. justice system has been towards people suing YouTuber, that they haven't been very responsive to the people because of Section 230 and how they keep interpreting it. So basically, we have no choice. We have to go full-throated at this and fight them on it and basically tell them, look, you've got people that are abusing your system, and until they decide to actually fix their system or an alternative that comes along that can truly compete, we have no choice but to fight them on their turf and to stand tall against them on their turf. And what does that speak of us for doing that, standing up to them on their turf and winning? We can win this. We can overcome. We shall overcome.
Shield wall, indeed. And like you say, we did it before. We can do it again. But you've been too humble. You said that you were just a little channel, but you had incredible growth. And I've been to all of your Saturday shows. You had a fantastic audience.
Yeah, we do have a very dedicated, hardcore fan base, and I definitely appreciate everybody that does show up on Saturdays. And Saturdays is just one of those days that not a lot of people do stuff, but not a lot of content creators do stuff either. And I thought, you know what, we'll take advantage of that. Put out just an hour show, make it a must tune in, or if you can't tune in, a must watch on a replay. And yeah, it had been going really, really well. It really was, and I was having a lot of fun doing it. It's fun to talk about anime and fun to talk about shows that I like, stuff that I've seen, or even stuff that I hadn't seen but have now been exposed to, like Hellsing Ultimate. This is by far, out of all the stuff that I covered for October, it is the most delicious, evilly delicious, just oozing with charisma type show. It's so good.
Would you say it's a show that you could get your teeth into?
Yes, absolutely. If you've seen Hellsing Ultimate, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alucard is very ooh.
It is a great show.
It is a really good show. It's great. Yeah, and by far it's been my favorite one that I've seen all of October. And I did dive into a bit of everything. Hellsing Abridged is hilarious, but it goes more on the funny side as opposed to the serious fighting against the hordes of the damned and the Lost Brigade from the bad guys from the 40s.
Mm-hmm. But just to go back to the channel for just a little bit, just because
Yes.
obviously you can't upload at the moment, you're still making content, aren't you? If I'm correct.
Yes, yeah. I am. This month is Cowboy Bebop month. Everything from today up until Netflix releases their potential, and I'm not going to prejudge it too harshly. The show has potential to either be a rousing success or an abject train wreck. But up until they release it on the 19th and the 20th, this month is Cowboy Bebop month. That is correct.
So you're going to go do a real deep dive into the anime and manga before this TV show launches?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going through all the aspects of it, finishing watching it, going into the various aspects of it, of why this show has been so popular and has been on pretty much any serious connoisseur's top 5, top 10 list for the past 20. And maybe just now there have been other stuff that have surpassed it. But in my opinion, that late 90s era from about 97 to the end of the decade, there are several shows that came out and several manga that came out that completely changed everything and just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Bebop is one of them.
Do you think, as an anime fan, that this, as you say, does have potential to be really good? Or do you think that people are very wary, one, because there's been controversy surrounding, the actors, especially the actress who plays Faye, and it is Netflix after all. Netflix don't have a great track record at the moment.
Yeah, it's Netflix, they in and of themselves, they do have a hit and miss record when it goes to the stuff that they themselves either produce or create directly.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this goes, knowing what I know about the actress that decided to take pot shots and the showrunner doing basically saying what they've said, either as they can't make up their mind if this is either a complete retelling, an expanded telling of it, a alternate universe version. They're not fully in line, but just from what we've seen from the trailer, mm-hmm. there are lots of things that they're skating on thin ice, and they have to toe this line very carefully, especially for a show that's this beloved. Me personally, I don't believe that they can pull it off. And my reason for that is because of how defensive they have been about certain things. That's that's an insta red flag, and we've seen it
they
with
were
other
very
things.
Knee jerk, yes, and this seems to be a staple of Netflix as well. I mean, we saw it with He-Man Revelation, for example, when they got pushback from the fans. They got very defensive, and now we're seeing it again with this show. We had the trailer released a few days ago. I know you watched it, so I watched your take on it. Could you kind of give us a summary of what you thought of it? For me, as a casual fan, I've got to admit, it didn't really sell me. I would be much more interested in just watching the anime than watching the live action.
This one is a tough one because the first two that they did, the quick preview was crap. Mm-hmm. The one where they kept moving the bar for the transitions, unique, but it didn't sell it. The full actual story trailer that they did now that we've actually seen the CGI that they're working to make this world come to life, the CGI work as far as the atmosphere and the places, it actually looks pretty good. They put a lot of money into that, and you can tell.
Yes, the CGI is
So,
definitely what they focused on, and it looked good, and it looked like a world that's lived in. I know that sounds silly, but it didn't
mhm.
look polished. It looked grimy. It looked, all the ships were very dented and very rusted. It looks like,
But that's how it's supposed to
yeah,
look. It's like
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like Star Wars. Star
Mhm.
Wars versus Star Trek type of thing. Star
Yeah.
Trek, it's all new, all hip, all pristine. Whereas Star Wars, no one can afford a new ship, so you got to salvage what you have. It's the Cowboy Bebop world is the same. It doesn't have that money, just doesn't flow like that for everybody. So for how it looks for the CGI, yeah, I think they did do a pretty good job with that. Did they hit it out of the park with the ship designs? No. Did they did they hit it out of the park with who they cast? Absolutely not.
Hmm.
Now that then
Yeah.
that's where I have the problem. Go ahead, NB Geek. Let's talk.
We'll go over the cast in a minute. Since this is directed kind of towards you, would you like to take this one? And a massive thank you to NB Geek. Thank you, sweetheart, for your $10 super chat.
Thank you, NB Geek. Let's talk. I love IDIC. We like what we like. We do not like what we do not like. We are geeks, nerds. We do not agree on all things, but we accept points of view. Why is it so hard for some people? Because some people like to go ree all the way home.
Indeed, I absolutely agree, MB Geek, and that's the one thing that the one side of the diversity that we don't see very often. It's diversity of thought, except
Yeah,
within our communities where we can actually disagree but still remain friends. It's a crazy concept, but it does happen.
diversity of thought is true diversity. Everything else is just superficial. That's my own opinion for what it's worth. But
Hmm.
as far as the rest of this trailer, John Cho is in incredible shape. He has done a lot to prepare for this role, but he's too old. In my opinion, he is too old to be doing and portraying this character.
Yes, that's one of the criticisms that I've heard. Um, I think he's going to do his best, definitely.
Yeah,
But do you think maybe 10 years ago he would have been absolutely perfect, perhaps?
20 years ago.
20
Well,
years
Spike
ago.
is only in his mid to upper mid 20s. So to have a guy that's almost 50 trying to portray somebody that's supposed to be 20, upper 20s, that's a hard sell. No. Had they tried to do it with him 20 years ago, sure. And actually, I'm surprised that they didn't try to do some de-aging. But then again, cost factor probably would have gone through the roof.
Yes. Well, they spent all the money on on costuming. Not for
Yeah.
Faye, obviously, but
Yeah,
still.
obviously not for Faye. I can't remember the guy's name that they had to portray Jet Black. I actually like him. To me, he feels like he fits. The voice cadence sounds right. His body build, his everything is for that is fine. I think he will probably be the best out of the three. The
Hmm.
problem is, like, to not to go too far into the history of this country, but I feel like he's going to be pushed to quote unquote the metaphorical back of the bus.
You think
Because
so?
when you look at who they're promoting, or who it's starring, he's not a top bill, but his character is a top bill. He is, for lack of a better term, the de facto captain of the Bebop. He is what everything else revolves around.
Hmm.
The glue of the thing. But at the same time, he still has his own things that he does, his own character arc, and I just don't think he's going to get. I don't think he's going to get the screen time or the love that he deserves, and that's wrong.
And that's a shame because Mustafa Shakir is, as you say, a talented actor.
Absolutely, and as I said, he sounds like how I hear Jet
Hmm.
Black from the anime. He sounds like the same voice actor, very similar in cadence. So, yeah, I feel bad for him because I do think he's going to get the short end. And yes, I did watch The Thing for the first time, and I thought I was going to be a lot more scared shitless than I was, but I wasn't. I rather enjoyed that.
Oh, The
Although I
Thing
will
is
say I did
amazing.
have tech fail. Voodoo from Fandango, you let me down.
Big thank you to Snowed Up. Hello, sweetheart. Good morning. Yes, The Thing is a fantastic film. It is
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
it's a great movie. It is really good. I didn't think that I would like it that much. I really liked it. John Carpenter really did that perfectly.
He did. Let me share screen a moment
Yes.
because I've got some of the pictures of the actors. So if I go back to, so this is from IGN, obviously. So what they've
Mm-hmm.
done is they've given us a kind of breakdown of the characters for newbies. So just to kind of give your thoughts on some of these characters. Now, I agree, he looks great. I didn't realize he's as old as he is. I've got to
Yeah,
admit.
no one thought he's as old as he is. But then again, even when he did American Pie back in 99, playing a high school kid, he was, almost like 27, 28 at that time. So so yeah, he pulls off the younger look better than most, but there when guys hit a certain age, that the ability to play a younger guy just hits that wall, and he's hit that wall. It's nothing
Mhm.
against him, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I like Mustafa. I
Yes.
think he'll do fine.
I think he's going to be probably one of the better characters. Absolutely. I hope, as you say, he doesn't get pushed to the background, because from what I can tell, the whole point is they're supposed to be a team, an unconventional team, but they do work together.
Yeah, what they showed as far as how they become a team or why they're a team, that is changed. That's off a bit. They're more of a they're there together for because they have no choice, or at least when it goes to Faye, her
Hmm.
character has always been the one to cause trouble, or to just to basically be the thorn in their sides. Whereas between Jet and Spike, I think their partnership is a lot deeper than what's been shown.
Hmm.
It's not just surface level like it is with her. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not Faye Valentine.
Yes. Now, this is
She's wrong.
probably one of the most controversial, I would say,
Yeah, she
casting
doesn't she
choices.
doesn't have that. She just doesn't have the look. The costume, the way that they've designed her costumes, yeah, it's a travesty. It's terrible. If you don't want to have the full male gaze going on, that's fine. You can do some adjustments to the OG,
Do you
her
think
her
a
main clothing. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of the blowback came from what she said? Do you think that she was being, facetious? She was trying to be funny, or do you think she was serious in that little rant that she did about the male gaze?
You know, I don't know her or her work enough to be able to really go for sure, but from her age bracket that she's in,
Hmm.
she's probably more towards the Bocoso side of things, as a mutual friend of ours likes to say.
Yes.
So I think she's probably more of that mindset. And because she's more of that mindset, it doesn't work. And yeah, that is a possible problem that they're going to run into because of the world that they inhabit. Trying to do practical effects could get too expensive, but relying too much on the computer, it does the same thing. It doesn't look real. Whereas with practical effects, we know they're not real, but they look real. It's weird how the mind works with that.
Just to jump in, so Persalot says, Brandon, can you please send me a direct link to your alternate account? Because YouTube is scrubbing over again. Would love to leave a sub. Is
Yeah,
that
I
up and
can do
running at
that.
the moment? Yeah, that would be
Well,
great.
let me see here. Let's see. I'll copy this. Maybe I can copy it. Actually, I've got my realtor that's supposed to be coming over here in a bit to check the place. It's my sister-in-law, but I just need to shut my door, and hopefully the dog doesn't go completely batshit crazy. 'Cause you know how doggies are when people come over, like,
Oh
"Ah,
yes.
who's this?" And then of course mine is so super hyper and tiny and Yorkie, so she's like, "Oh, I love everybody, I love everybody."
Oh, That's so
Oh,
cute. We love doggos.
oh
And
yeah,
Ren,
oh
and
yeah.
Ren,
She's a fun dog.
Renzira says if she was serious, she was serious. If she was trying to be funny, she failed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I it was just she sounded very bitter. I know she's an
she
actress,
did.
and I thought maybe she was acting, but this sounded like somebody who was very offended by by what
Hmm.
was going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
any
awesome.
way that you slice it with this, whether she was trying to be funny or trying to be serious or just a straight up nutbag, it all came off bad for her, bad for the show, and bad for the character. Because watching the trailer, she doesn't sell me as being Faye. She
Hmm.
really doesn't. Although the one part with her hand with the goo falling off of it, the only thing I could think of was MILF, MILF, MILF. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. Give me just 1 second. Let me shut my door real quick.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Let's see what else you guys have got to say. And guys, yeah, I just Brandon kindly sent the link, so if you could support him, that would be awesome. Gun Bunny says my Rottweiler loves everybody as well. I love Rottweilers; they're so sweet.
Oh, there we
Um,
go.
and Naughty Monkey RF says, "Oh look, modern entertainment loads both barrels of the 12 gauge." Yes.
Okay. Now, I haven't seen much of Vicious, but no, that doesn't look right to me. That looks wrong.
He looks like he stepped off the set of Harry Potter.
Yeah, he does. Is this a magical realm or is this a future realm where Earth has basically become an asteroid's plaything?
It's very strange. So we've got a few of them, and it does look like, as you say, they're working very hard. I would imagine he's the sort of person that does like to do a lot of his own choreography. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Let's see. Which another
So,
shot from that? Yeah.
so another few characters that they've added, and all of these are background characters. We've got Julia, who I don't know. It says Julia's another relic of Spike's past. Former lover returns at a dangerous time and puts the seemingly carefree Spike on a collision course with his past. So,
Yeah.
kind of femme fatale character.
Well, my understanding was she supposedly was the other guy's girl until Spike showed up and within the organization, and then she tended to go more toward Spike. Then they had a falling out and all sorts of other stuff. But as I said, I've got to finish Bebop myself
Hmm.
to fulfill the stories. But I do see there was one thing from NB Geek. Let's talk.
Oh yeah,
Bring that
yes.
up because
Let
it's an
me
important thing that is
grab
missing.
that. And thank you, NB Geek. Appreciate that.
So NB Geeks, Let's Talk says, I have Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray. Let's see. This I had low thoughts, and this is not helping. By the way, why did they promote Ed? Where the fuck is Ed? Pardon my language.
That's
And
fine.
you're right. Ed is
Yes.
not anywhere in this, and you can't have Cowboy Bebop without Ed. Ed is just so damn funny.
Yes. See, I don't even. I'm not even a very very much a normie when it comes to this anime. But even I know that it's a character that should be here. Now they seem to be hinting that this character is going to be included. They just haven't said when or who will be playing the character.
Yeah, and from looking at it, they could be doing a multi-season arc with this, but I have no idea. Now,
Yes.
and then there's Ein.
Then there's
Oh yes,
Ein.
little corgi.
Look. Look how cute Ein
Uh,
is.
yeah, a very special dog. Let's say that.
Ein is a good boy.
Yeah.
But it's very cute. But yeah, as you say, who else have we got? We've got one of the villains that they've talked about, Mad Perot, uh, who seems
Wow.
to be a clown-like character. That's a nope from me. A
No, they're
couple more.
definitely into the clown show. Now, one thing I do want to talk about. Go back one, if you would, please.
Yeah, of course. This one?
For Big Shot, the 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 outfit of the female in the show is a little more revealing, but at the same time, it almost feels like they're going for a '60s cheese camp. Now I know that the parts of Bebop can be very campy, especially when it goes to the Big Shot show. But
Mm-hmm.
come on, can't we do it just a little better than this? Yeah. So overall, as I said, the CGI looked pretty good. Character choices is what's going to kill this. I
Mm-hmm.
really do think their casting is what's gonna make this crash and burn with the normies. And I am of the opinion, and I'll go on the record with this right now. As it stands today, any self-respecting fan of this show will probably, if they watch the first one, they'll probably not watch the second one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what if I had to put money down on something, that's probably what would happen.
Could I just point out at this point that that outfit that she's wearing isn't particularly revealing? It's just short shorts and a cut top.
Yep, short shorts, cut top with the jacket of sorts over it, and then the stockings. So yeah, overall, it's not very revealing. But for Danielle Pineda to say, it's a tissue and it gets into crevices and could fall apart, bullshit. And we've seen cosplayers pull off that look so perfectly. They should have hired them, and they would have had no problems doing any of it. But yeah, in the trailer, the way that she acts Faye out, yeah, it does not sell it at all. She is not Faye Valentine, and yeah,
Yes, I think this is probably going to be the character that most people will have issues with. And then, as you say, they've brought up Where's Ed? So
hmm
it's one of the major Cowboy Bebop character is conspicuously absent in these new materials. Notorious underage computer hacker Ed. I'm not going to read out their full name. It's the fourth pillar of the series, and he's and quickly becomes BFFs with Iron after joining the Bebop crew. Netflix has confirmed Ed will appear in the series, but the character's complete absence suggests they either weren't popping up in season one or will be drastically reimagined when they do.
yeah, yeah. It's I would if the show crashes and burns as bad as I suspect it could, they probably won't renew it. But it's also Netflix, so who the hell knows how much they've actually committed to on the back end already, or any of that. So
Yeah, and Channel 66 says, but cosplayers aren't doing action scenes. That I agree with, but
they could be trained.
they could
They
be
can
trained,
be taught.
and there are plenty of ways that you can have a costume that has the flexibility to move with the actor or stunt double, as is most likely the case for her. So she probably wouldn't even be the one wearing it in the action scenes.
Yeah, yeah. I think they. Yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that the casting is where this will fail the most, if not completely. And the CGI part, it's a tough one, and this goes back to a larger overall discussion of modern anime versus anime before computers became the predominant method for animating.
Mm-hmm.
How much has incorporating CGI, whether it be full on CGI effects, traditional 3D ish CGI like what we see in Pixar movies, versus having a computer being used to do the hand drawings. Which method's better? Which one is going to be the way to go? And there's just something about these shows done prior to 2010 that having the traditional frame by frame, cell by cell drawn, that just can't be beat. It really can't.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. You can tell the difference. And it's the same. We were talking about CGI with films. CGI is a great tool to enhance what you already have.
hmm
But when all you have is CGI, it confuses the eye. your audience isn't sure what they're looking at. You need that practical side. You were talking about watching The Thing. Um,
Oh yes,
how great was that to see with all these practical effects?
realistic. I know it's fake, but at the same time, it just looks it oozes charm and charisma. It oozes the love that these creators had for what they were for their project.
Hmm.
It's so good. I can't believe
Yes.
I went this long without seeing it. It really was a great movie.
It is. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I know it's one of Snowdub's as well.
Yeah,
So I'm really glad, one, that you watched it, and two, that you enjoyed it. So that's really
yeah.
cool.
It was a lot of damn fun, and being on panel with him, and talking through my tech issues, and seeing and keeping things synced up fairly close, and getting a little extra background on some of the things and some of the fan theories as to the why certain things didn't happen was a lot of fun and very interesting.
Hmm. That is cool. There's just a couple more things that I was going to talk about with the trailer. So
Hmm.
one of the things we've got, let me share. It's probably easier if I share it. There we go. Pull that up, and it is that one. So I'm not sure if you can kind of shine a little bit of light on this, but it says Cowboy Bebop's trailer proves its creepiest villain is worse in live action. The Cowboy Bebop trailer reveals many live-action versions of our favourite characters, including one iconic villain who looks even creepier than before. So this is the clown character that I'm guessing that they're talking about. Now, I don't know whether this is one that is kind of where you are in the anime, whether it's a character you've come across yet, or whether it's one that you've yet to experience. So if
Not
that's the
yet.
case, we can skip it.
Yeah,
I can.
yeah. I haven't got to this part yet, but here's what I'll say. Within animation, especially Japanese animation, there are
Mhm.
certain things that just never translate well. Sometimes it's the language of the script, sometimes it's the action and how they pull off the action, or the ships, or how a character looks. This is one of those does not translate well.
Mhm.
His animated character definitely looks psychotic, but the live action one looks like something that was pulled out of John Carpenter's ass and then rehashed. It doesn't look well. But then
I got
again, if
I
it
got
if it came out of John
Rob
Carpenter's
Zombie.
ass,
Yeah.
if it came out of his ass, it's probably a lot better than most anything they could come up with themselves these days.
I was thinking
But you
Rob
get the point.
Zombie, but yes, I
Yeah.
get what you mean. Um, so let me just see what they've got to say about this. I won't read the whole thing because one, there's probably spoilers, and I don't want it spoiled for you. But let's have a look, see what they say. The trailer for the live-action Netflix adaptation of Cowboy Bebop has just made anime's creepiest villain so much worse. Of course, that villain is none other than Mad Perot. Although only appearing in one episode of the original anime series, he left enough of an impression to be regarded as one of Cowboy Bebop's most iconic villains. Okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I
The
mean, he
Mad
looks
Pero.
cool. He looks
Yeah.
cool. Don't get me wrong. Um, do you think that villains as a whole are quite difficult to translate onto screen? Because
Absolutely.
heroes, they
That's
seem,
because they're mad.
yeah, heroes seem to have an easier time of it. But people love a good villain.
Oh yeah, for these type of shows, you have to have the good villain. You have to pull them off just as good, if not better, in some cases than you do for your main protagonists. And yeah, yeah, just from seeing who they cast for this and the character designs, I just don't think they're going to do that. They've missed. They really did miss. But as I said, I do have to temper it a little bit. I am gonna bite the bullet. I am gonna take one for the team. I will watch the Netflix series.
Hmm.
I'll do it. If for no other reason than for me to be able to say with absolute abject 100% certainty that it is trash. Or it might not be trash. For all I know, it could be the best thing since sliced bread. The problem is I doubt it. I highly doubt it because of
Mhm.
because of how they've done things and how they've gone about to conducting their business. If you're, basically, if your shit's that good, you shouldn't have to go around being defensive about it. But since they have gone around being defensive about it, the odds are it's bad.
Do you think as well it's a little bit that fans are kind of jaded when it comes to live action remakes or anything that's, really beloved by people that companies take and then they decide to either, reboot, remake, anything like that? Do you think it's kind of a rather we'd have it left alone kind of thing now?
Yes, absolutely, and they should be. All I have to say to that is Death Note. If you've seen or know about Netflix's adaptation of Death Note, that's exactly why it shouldn't be done. And to another extent, Ghost in the Shell. As I watched the movie that was put out by whoever it was, I can't remember, with ScarJo.
Scarjo,
Not the
yep.
not the worst thing I've ever seen, but definitely there are just certain things that cannot be adapted to a live action setting and done justice without it either costing too much or losing what made the original animation of it special. Another show that absolutely could not be done, and I hope they never try to do, would be Kill la Kill.
Mm-hmm.
And that you want to
Yes,
talk about a show
that
that goes over the top and
that one I've actually watched and I really did enjoy.
yeah, but it's one that couldn't be done, and I hope they never try to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with all these other ones. They keep trying with Akira. I hope they don't do it because it won't work.
Well, isn't there supposed to be Berserk as well in the works now?
Oh Lord, I hope not. No, no. Yeah, that's the rumor that's going around that HBO is
Mm-hmm.
thinking of doing it. And HBO 20 years ago, sure. HBO today, hell no. Keep your hands off of Berserk.
Don't do
Ah,
it.
for
Don't
crap's
do it,
sake, that's
HBO.
yeah. Don't do it as right. And that actually does bring back to how animation was versus how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Berserk has basically what I call three movements within the animation. They have their original 97 anime that was done when the manga first started and covers the Golden Age story arc. Then in 2010, 2011, they had a three-movie series basically on the same thing. But because it was done then, they used computers to do the animation. But the way that they didn't really try to cover it up like how some of the other ones that are currently done do. Like My Hero, it's obviously done with computers,
Mm-hmm.
but they hide it well. And there's a lot of other ones that do the same. It's done on the computers. It's all hand drawn with the computers using computer aided tools, but it doesn't scream at you that it's done that way. That movie did,
Let
and
me
it
piggyback off Colin's comment here. He says, if I do decide to watch the show, I'll avoid the anime so I can look at it with no expectations or prior concept. Would you recommend that? Would that be the best way to go at it? Or would you say watch the anime first and then compare the live action?
I will say watch the anime first because I'm the anime guy, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I come from things. With you, whenever you're dealing with adaptations, there's always going to be some things exaggerated, changed, or just not there in the animation. Had they, let's put it this way, had they tried to do this show as it exists without Cowboy Bebop existing as it was before, then yeah, it would probably be fine. It probably would be really, really good. But since it is Cowboy Bebop, the existing property exists, the existing stories exist, the existing fan base exists. There's just no way to be able to live up to proper expectations. You go and using the methods that they've done. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, had they called it, let's say, Bebopping Cowboys and made it a completely original-ish mock-off story, it probably would have been fine. But no.
I would have loved to have seen that just to see if they could actually get away with it.
Well, it's like how they have B movie studios that make a knockoff of major movies. What was
Mm-hmm.
there? Pacific Rim, and then there's Atlantic Rim or something like that.
Yep, I've just seen one for Dune, which is all about Worms, which is a knockoff that's just come out.
Exactly. And that is what this feels like. A knockoff, an imitation. And even though they've got the rights to it through Sunrise, which, the original creator of it, he did put out a statement basically saying they talked to him one time at first, didn't do anything further with him, but since he himself does not own the rights to it, he says ultimately if it sucks, blame Sunrise and blame Netflix. Don't blame me. So I'm thinking he's got a bad feeling about it. Just like Han Solo had a bad feeling about his son. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh, I'm dead.
There is an upside to this, though. Unfortunately, if we do get a bad take on Cowboy Bebop, I hope we don't, just for the fans. But if we do, maybe it will cause them to pause in ever trying to make more live action anime.
You'd think they'd learn.
You'd think they'd learn, but
this is Netflix we're talking about, and they have a bad tendency to not learn from certain parts of their past. So
oh my gosh, there was one more story that I wanted to cover just before we finish today.
Yes.
So, you guys know I've been kind of following the DCEU. There's a lot of films coming out, but none of them are really catching anybody's attention. So we've got The Flash, and they've just released a trailer for that. I'm not going to bother showing it because, they...
Yeah, YouTube being the way they are.
Yeah,
and actually,
YouTube, yep.
For The Flash, wouldn't his nickname be Minuteman? Or 10-Second Man?
Oh my gosh.
I say if he doesn't have the ability to slow down, wouldn't he then become the millisecond man? Maybe that's what Faye Valentine had in her hair or in her hand when Spike said, "I want to kill her. Can I please kill her?" No, Spike, you can't kill her. Well, maybe he should have. He probably could have put us all out of our misery, but that's a side issue.
Oh, sorry, I lost where I was. So, as I said, there was there's more DCEU, but the rumor that we have now is that Michael Keaton is back, but Ben Affleck is out. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you like the idea of Keaton coming back as Batman, or do you think that Affleck was a better Batman?
Depends upon the age. Keaton, his Batman, it's kind of that transitionary phase from the Silver Age, more comedic, lighthearted, Adam West-ish style, and of course Tim Burton hammed it up a little bit, trying to play to both sides of it, into the more serious aspect of what it means to be Batman, or the older Batman that is portrayed by Ben Affleck, more of the the Dark Knight Returns grisly the story arc that Frank Miller did. I like both of them. Batman '89 came out when I was 9. I saw it in the theaters. It was a staple. It is a great movie. And Keaton played him very well, walking that tightrope between the campy and the serious. And anybody would be better than Bat Nipples.
Agreed. I like Keaton. I liked what he did. I don't know whether I want to see him come back, so I don't know whether this is going to be a very small kind of cameo, or whether now that he is back and supposedly Affleck is out, he's going to have to step into the major role that presumably Batman has in this film. They're kind of very keeping their cards close to the chest on what's happening,
which is probably wise on their part.
Yes,
but when it goes to Warner Brothers and their current run of DC films, they're very hard to get into. And I like DC. I'm not a big comic book guy, but I do know and have a base level understanding of what's going on in the DC universe and in the Marvel universe and all that. And I lost interest in all of that about 3-4 years ago. So
Ishab Melody says I could still hear that Prince song. Me too.
the Prince album for that movie was awesome.
It was, to be fair, it was a great song, but it
Yeah,
got
it fits the
played and
motif.
played and played and played. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
But let's see what they've got to say. So Keaton is supposed to be appearing as the Batman in the Flash films, but he could also wind up appearing in Batgirl, following the news that the movie's directors declared that the real, in quotations, Batman would be in it. So it seems that Affleck has really fallen out of favour at the moment. Again. Yes. But this contradicts what Batgirl's recently cast star Leslie Grace had to say when grilled, but that doesn't mean she isn't being ordered to stay quiet about Keaton in the first place. So it seems to be very kind of hush-hush at the moment. I like Keaton. I think he's a good actor. I loved his Batman in '89. Do I think that
Yep.
he can still perform and pull off the same character that he did now?
Nope.
No, I don't. I don't think he has it in him, unfortunately. I think that's why I actually liked Affleck as Batman. I thought, he has the physical side. I never thought he was great as Bruce Wayne, but I did like his take on Batman. We've also got the issue that we've had characters and people like Kevin Conroy, who was played Batman, who has come back onto a live action to reprise the role, and he was treated terribly. It
Mm-hmm.
was a absolute slap in the face to the character, to the actor, and to the fans. And
Well,
I
it was CW,
really,
so would we expect anything less from them from them? So
no, but you'd think they would have just a kind of like just little speck of respect for the character or for the actor, for doing so much for this character, but
yeah,
apparently
you'd
not.
think so, but
Yeah, but I'm hoping that if he is back, this is just going to be a very small cameo role. I don't care about the Flash film. It's not one that's on my radar. I've talked about the Batman, as well.
Sparkly Batman,
Sparkly
woohoo!
Batman, which I keep forgetting is actually on, due to be released. I just there's just something about these DC films that is not grabbing people's attentions. To be fair,
No.
Marvel's having the same problem at the moment with the Eternals. Nobody wants to watch that, but
Well, yeah. Who the hell are the Eternals? Why didn't they interfere earlier? Just everything that they're trying to do now just doesn't work. And I do think part of it is Marvel fatigue. We've had too many Marvel movies over the years, and their quality just keeps going down. The story is the same, just on repeat. It just doesn't appeal anymore. So yeah, I do foresee that continuing to go down in flames. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad that it'll go down in flames for a while, because then maybe we can actually get real proper adaptations of the stories without all the woke bullshit.
God, I hope so.
That's the part that's killing all of it, is the woke aspect of it, especially with this year's release of all the various Marvel properties. Had they stuck to their guns and stuck to a proper story and or adapted their comic stories closer, they wouldn't be having these problems.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we had pretty much the perfect way to end the MCU with Endgame. I think they got greedy, they wanted Phase 4, but we're running out of characters for people to care about.
Yeah.
So,
Or trying to
yeah.
integrate them there at the very end when nobody gives a flying crap about them. Fantastic Four. I'm sorry, did I say that?
Oh god, that
I
Fantastic
I,
Four is going to be
love the
terrible.
Fantastic Four.
I love the
They're
Fantastic Four as well, but you already know it's
Marvel's first
going to be
family.
bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's the same thing with X-Men. I'm sorry, did that come out? Yeah, there's no way that Marvel can integrate them, or for that matter, Deadpool,
Hmm.
into the MCU at large and do it proper. This is something that needed to be done back at the very beginning.
Hmm.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is a C. They were C list, and
They
it's same
were.
with Iron Man. Iron Man was C list for years,
Yeah,
but
I'd say a big thing with the Iron Man was Robert Downey Jr. though.
oh yeah,
He
yeah,
made
he
that
played him
character.
perfectly.
Yeah, he did.
But you won't ever be able to get him to play him again.
Mm-mm, no. Oh no.
And part of it, I do believe, is because of the current. He's a white toxic male re environment. So
Well, yeah, that is an issue. We've also got the same thing with Chris Pratt as well, who is
oh yeah,
still in the MCU. We do have Guardians 3 coming, and weirdly enough, that was the only film on their roster that hasn't been pushed back. All of these other films they've been pushed back either 3 months, 6 months, uh,
a year.
a year exactly.
I hope I I have to both agree with the boss, but I also have to take a little umbrage with him when it goes to Disney. Disney under Iger is a complete and utter shell of what it can be, should be, and could have been. With Chapek, there is at least a hope. He hasn't been in there very long, but he's already started to make waves and make changes. The problem is with any type of massive anything is it takes forever to have those changes come to true fruition.
Hmm.
I do believe that Chapek may not necessarily have the fans at heart when he makes the decisions, but the decisions that he's making is from a money man, a Mr. Moneybag standpoint with the
Hmm.
monocle going. The
Yes, it's
company
for the
is supposed to,
shareholders
yeah.
rather than the
He
message. Yeah.
he is the shareholders pick, and not just the you and me, maybe one or two shares, but the various brokerage houses that have 10-15% ownership of the company. They put him there because they could see the writing on the wall that's coming. Iger spent like a friggin' drunk sailor. He spent them into basically into the United States of America's debt type of spending. And the rooster, the chickens are going to come home to roost eventually. You
Hmm.
can't go on a spending binge like he did, especially dropping 60 plus billion for Fox Studios and
Hmm.
Fox properties and not have it come back to bite you in the ass. They overspent and it shows. And those bills
Yes.
are going to come due. They're going to have to pay them or they're going to become insolvent. If they become insolvent, that's going to be I hate to use the term too big to fail, but in some respects, with regard to a lot of different things. Disney owns a lot, and if they go under, where it's in an extreme, there are going to be a lot of sectors that will be affected by it. So, Chapek as the whole has to right the ship. Riding the ship sometimes includes doing things that may on the surface seem like he's being attacked. Well, part of it is he's let himself be attacked, and I can't say this enough about Cameron Pasha. If you I love the guy. I do believe his
Hmm.
insight in this is spot on. I know
Yes,
Valiant
I would
Renegade
agree
and
with
him have
that.
talked.
Yeah.
I have his Patreon. I do subscribe to him through Patreon, so I get to see his insights since he's been kiboshed off of Twitter again.
I miss him on Twitter.
I do miss him on Twitter too, but I get to see him through many other places. But he would be the first to say that he has done the Machiavellian thing, which was to allow himself to be wounded but not killed.
Hmm.
Therefore, he gets the sympathetic play from the people that actually have the power within Disney, and that's the big shareholders. All the
Hmm.
studio heads can whine, bitch, and moan all they want, but they tried to take him out and they failed, and now he is exerting control. But the fruits of that control we won't probably see till 2024, 2025.
Yes, he's playing the long game. And Chris says, I don't know about Chapek. Before the coup, Disney parks were hemorrhaging, especially with that brilliant choice of Galaxy's Edge. The,
Yeah,
as far
that
as I'm aware,
that partially is on him.
yeah, the parks really took a hit. and that's why they've taken so many extras away, shall we say, from people going to the parks now, just to kind of recoup losses. But as you said, you cannot spend the way that they've spent without it coming back and biting them in the ass. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's the same with who was it that they spoke of? There was one guy. There was one guy that was in charge of, I believe, Fox Studios, who completely screwed them, hence why they got bought out. But he's now over with Sony, and he's the perfect fit. He fits there. He's getting them into a better financial position than they were to either be bought out or to make it through these turbulent times of transitioning from a theater to physical media to HBO or that release schedule to a streaming. Sony is still the only one that doesn't have a
Tony Vinciquerra.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah,
he works better there. He was crap for Fox, and we can see that, but he's doing wonders for Sony.
Well, just to swing back to Sony, the only film that's on the Marvel roster that's generating any excitement is the Spider-Man film, and that's still part owned.
Yeah, well, from what it looks like that Sony is in charge of actually doing it as opposed to the Marvel side. And if that's the case, they stand a little better chance.
They do. Well, Sony want to do what Marvel did. They want their own kind of in-universe, which is why we've got the Venom films, we've got the Morbius film coming. All of these films are going to be connected in kind of a Spider-Verse, if you will, to go with these films. So it will be very interesting to see, just from a casual observer, where these films go. But I would agree with you. They've got to do something, because they can say that these films are making money. You can say that they're making, bank at the box office, but you're moving the goalpost. You compare these films to films that went 5 years ago, and they're not making the money. And there's only so much you can blame on the coof.
Yeah, that's very true. There's only so much you can blame on the coof, and the further it goes, the less that they can use it. But there's an old saying: never let a good excuse go to waste, or never let a good. Rahm Emanuel said it during the Obozo times. Never let a good bad thing happen go to waste. More or less is what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Exploiting tragedy for political gain. So as long as that type of thinking exists, there will always be scapegoats.
And capitalize on it, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Could I say a massive, massive thank you for you to joining me today. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to kind of let people know? Is there anything? Obviously, I saw Paris said that Culture Casino has also talked about your channel. That's fantastic news. So he's going to tweet out as well. So there is a hell of a lot of support here. We want to get your channel back. You didn't do anything wrong, and the fact that it's happened so close together is absolute bullshit, basically.
Yeah, it really is, and yeah, I am definitely very humbled by the support from everybody that I've gotten to know over the time, and I definitely do appreciate the backing and the support for this. And yes, I'm working on the tweet now to send out to Team YouTube. Once again, once I do, if you do follow me right now, my handle on Twitter is gogo13_BW. If you would please tweet it, retweet it, add your own thoughts to the tweet, your own testimonials. The more that we can bombard Team YouTube with this, the more likely they are to say, hey, what the crap is actually truly going on, and to actually have a real human being look at it and do a quick cursory look. Because it doesn't take very long to realize my channel is very milquetoast, and there's no way that any of those things occur. So yeah, I will get that out here within the next 5 minutes. And yeah, let's go, Brandon. When that first started, I was like, damn it, I don't want my name to be associated with dear leader. But you know what? I've come to the realization that if my name can be used to bring about a greater good, so be it. I'll take it.
Oh yes. And even with our little circle, absolutely. And big thank you to Chris and Mark for putting the links out. Thank you guys, much
Yes, thank you.
appreciated. So guys, as you say, we are going to do what we can like we did last time, because that's what we do. We support each other, especially hardworking channels. So guys, a massive thank you to Brandon for being my co-host today. Really appreciate it. Anytime you would like to come back, you have an open invitation.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And as soon as we figure out for sure what we're gonna do, the same holds true for you. You're always welcome on my channel for recording or live stream. Always.
Awesome. I will. Thank you guys. So I want to say a massive thank you to everybody in the chat today. You guys were on fire as always. Huge thank you to everybody who sent super chats. A big thank you to Brandon for joining. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to, but I very much appreciate it. So thank you guys. I will be, I think, if I remember correctly, I'm joining Clobbering Times tonight. I need to check just to make sure. I think it's this week and not next week, but we'll see. So fingers crossed. I will be there later, and then I will be back on Wednesday as usual. So, guys, have a wonderful Monday. Have a fantastic start to your week, and let's get those tweets going. Take care, everybody.
Take care, y'all.